Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are LA.
Last night, the fireworks started early on Big Bang Friday as the Angels lit up the sky with the long ball. Jared Weaver was lights out on the mound and got the win against the first-place A's. Tonight, Albert Pujols and the Halos look to pick up more ground in the West. A's, Angels, next. Some unusual weather here in Southern California. The rain washed out batting practice, but we are all right for first pitch of Game 2 of this three-game set against the visiting and first-place Oakland Athletics. Hi, everybody, from inside the Big A, alongside my broadcast partner, Mark Gubazon, Victor Rojas. So glad you could join us for Angels baseball once again here on Fox Sports West. And as we just showed you last night, the long ball is certainly prevalent for the Halos, and it proved to be 3 solo shots. All game winners, if you will, 4-1 win for the Halos.
Yeah, Victor, when you face a team like Oakland, they're going to throw a lot of strikes. They're going to throw their fastball. They're going to mix in their changeup. They're going to pitch inside very effectively. So when they make a mistake, you have to jump on those pitches. They certainly did that last night. Mike Trout drives out a changeup. Albert Pujols gets a breaking ball that was a mistake made. Eventually a fastball inside against Eric Ibar. So when the mistakes are made, you have to capitalize. 19 home runs by the Halos in the month of July. This Oakland club will give up the long ball. They don't walk a lot of batters, but they will give up the long ball. So when the mistake is made, you have to capitalize, score some runs, and give CJ some breathing room.
Yeah, you mentioned CJ Wilson's going for the Angels, and Oakland will counter with another right-hander. It was A.J. Griffin last night, Dan Straley towing to slap for Bob Melvin at the Athletics for tonight. We're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A, so sit back and relax. We're going to bring you the lineups and the first pitch when we return. Angels Baseball is brought to you by the Hyundai 100,000 Reasons event, now through July 31st. By Corona, who invites you to find your beach. And by Mercury Insurance. Get 2 Angels tickets with a fast, free auto insurance quote from Mercury Insurance. Log on to angels.com/Mercury to learn more. baseball, since the clouds have dissipated, the sunshine is out. It is game 2 of this 3-game set between the Angels and the Oakland Athletics. There's a look at the A's sitting atop the American League West. The Halos, 12 games left to play against Oakland. The Angels also have 13 games left to be played against the Texas Rangers. Seems like forever since the Angels and the Rangers last played a ball game.
Well, the bottom line is you have an opportunity because the two teams ahead of you play them a number of times. It's not like you don't see them anymore this season. So if you play well against those two teams, you can make up some serious ground quickly.
Oh, we're waiting for the Halos to take the field. There's manager Bob Melvin of the Oakland Athletics. And this is an A's team right now that has been struggling a little bit. They kind of stumbled, if you will, towards the All-Star break. They've struggled in particular with the American League West over the last 11 games.
Yes, offensively, that's the thing. They haven't been scoring a lot of runs. They've been pitching very well, so they've been in almost every one of those games. And with the bullpen that Bob Melvin has, if it's close and they could somehow get a lead, they've been able to hold on to that lead.
Yeah, they could shorten games up with the best of them. Oakland 23-16 within the division. The Halos with the win last night. Now 16-23 against the West. You see the Angels wearing their pearly white home uniforms, and we will check out Bob Melvin starting 9. The Oakland A's in first place in the West with a 56-40 record. Have Coco Crisp leading things off at center field. Chris Young is in left. So no Yoenis Cespedes for the second consecutive night due to that sore left wrist. Jet Lowry will bat third place shortstop. Donaldson is the cleanup hitter at third base. Made an error in the first inning, but a spectacular defensive play to keep it a 1-0 game in the first as well on the backhand side. Nate Freeman is the DH tonight. Derek Norris, right-handed hitter. He will serve as the catcher. Josh Reddick is at right. Brandon Moss at first base. Grant Green, the Orange County product, is batting ninth and playing second base. Taking on C.J. Wilson, who tonight is looking for win number 10 on the year.
Yeah, he's been throwing the ball so well late. Last 6 starts, ERA at 2.04, 5-1. In those starts, he's only allowed 1 home run during that point. His fastball can, his pace has been very good. But this Oakland club has presented a problem for him over the last couple of games in which they've worked the counts very well against CJ. Just believe in his fastball, command that, and then utilize his secondary pitches.
Let's take a look at the defense behind C.J. Wilson this evening. J.B. Shuck is in left, Mike Trout at center, Josh Hamilton in right. In the infield, it's Alberto Callaspo, Eric Ivar, Howie Kendrick, and Mark Trumbo around from third to first. And tonight it's Hank Conger behind the plate.
And always believe with CJ on the mound, Alberto Callaspo will be very busy at that third base position. A lot of cut fastballs in on the right. He's 10 errors so far this year at third base. 0 though in his last 11. He's really worked hard on getting his throw back to being accurate at the first base.
The Angels did make a roster move today as they designated Brendan Harris for assignment. And then they called back up Tommy Field, the infielder. So it's a bench move for Mike Scioscia and the Angels. Brendan, a nice run, broke camp with the team, did a terrific job at spring training, all-around gamer. And perhaps if he clears waivers and he has an option left, takes the minor league assignment and stays within the organization. He's a guy you want to keep around.
Yeah, he's played a number of positions, played some second, first, and third base, played a little outfield too, but some power too with 4 home runs this season for Brendan Harris.
Tommy Field with his second stint with the Halos this season. Coco Crisp settles into the batter's box, right-handed batter. He's a switch hitter, but batting for the right side against CJ to start this one off. Coco last night 1 for 5, and he looks at a fastball for a strike. Crisp hitting .262, 9 home runs, 35 runs batted in. Good speed, 14 doubles, 1 triple. CJ delivers strike 2. Crisp, however, hitting just .222 from the right side this year.
A couple good fastballs in a row, 91 and 92. Key guy to keep off the base if you're CJ against Oakland is Coco Crisp.
It's a bouncer over to third. Callaspo's got it on 1 big hop. 1 away. As Chris Young steps to the plate, we will check out our Hyundai key to the game.
Going back to Billy Carrington again tonight. Good directions. To me, the big point and key point of this game is going to be the rapport between Hank Conger and C.J. Wilson. Good directions as far as sign calling, working the pace, keeping the tempo going between the two of them.
And that's the one thing, as you pointed out, CJ's tempo has been much better of late, and you cannot get lax with this Oakland A's team, because even at an 0-2 count, they will wait you out. Yeah, if it's a strike, they're going to swing, but if you start nibbling, they will lay off those pitches as Chris Young looks at a strike.
And they watch a lot in the dugout, the way you go about facing each hitter. Now, if you're not around the strike zone, you're trying to throw everything away, they notice that, and they start looking on the outer part of the plate against you.
Breaking ball is in there, and it's an 0-2 count. Young last night at the last minute inserted into the lineup out at left field for Cespedes with that sore left wrist as he pulls one over to Carrasco, 2 outs.
I thought he was going to be busy, but that's real busy early on. A line drive and a slow chopper towards him at third base. Again, another pitch on the inner half, and Carrasco has to be prepared to make plays like this. Well hit by Young. Carrasco in position to catch that line drive.
So 2 up and 2 down for Oakland here in the first. Jed Lowrie will step in. Also a switch hitter. He's the shortstop. Went 0 for 4 last night. Batting .292 with 7 home runs and 37 runs batted in. A .360 on base percentage. Former Houston Astro, former Boston Red Sox, now Oakland A. Lowrie .275 from the right side, .301 from the left side this year. CJ immediately falls behind at 2 balls and no strikes. It's the first 2 balls that CJ has thrown in this game. Came out firing 6 strikes to get crisp and Young. 1 on a bouncer, 1 on the line drive. Donaldson on deck, just underway, no score. Two and 1. Oakland away from the Coliseum this year, 26 and 25, 30 and 15 at home as Lowrie shoots one down the line. That's a fair ball. Hamilton over to cut it off. Lowrie easily into second with a 2-out double.
And that's the one thing that CJ always has to be prepared for mentally, is to get through an inning. There's 2-out hits. Now, 2-out extra base hit by Lowrie the other way against him because he fell behind in the count 2-1. Gearing up for the fastball. Perfect swing by Lowrie right down the right field line for a double for him.
So man in scoring position for Oakland here in the first and 2 outs. Donaldson will step in, third baseman. Had a 1 for 4 game last night. It was 1 hit, an infield base hit. Looks at ball 1. Donaldson hitting .309 with 16 home runs, 61 runs batted in. Donaldson was in the 3 spot last night. Jared Weaver on the hill. Drops to the cleanup spot here tonight with CJ on the mound. In the dirt, nice dig by Conger. Back-to-back batters after getting ahead on the first 2. He's fallen behind at 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, so often at any level for pitchers, they get the first 2 quick outs like you do, a lot of strikes, and all of a sudden you have that mental letdown thinking you're through the inning. Before you know, you're behind 2-0. 2-1 base hit, now 2-0 again to a very dangerous hitter here in Josh Donaldson.
Donaldson hits one sharply right to second, though. Howard fires to first. The inning comes to an end. A 2-out double stranded in scoring position. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Chuck Trout and Pujols coming up for the Halos with no score. Mike Scioscia starting 9 for the Angels this evening. Mentioned third place in the West, 10 back of the Oakland A's with a 45-49 record. It is J.B. Shuck leading things off in left field. The all-star starter Mike Trout is in center. Albert Pujols at DH. Josh Hamilton with a couple of hits last night. He's in right. Howie Kendrick at second. Howie doubled last night. Mark Trumbo at first. Alberto Callaspo at third base. He had his hitting streak snapped. And Conger behind the plate. And Eric Ibar batting ninth and playing shortstop. Taking on Dan Straley, who comes into this one with a 6-2 mark and a 4.28 ERA.
Another strike thrower for Oakland. Dan Straley, fastball 89-93. Slider, good slider. Occasional curveball, very solid changeup.
15th start of the year for Straley. That is first since July the 9th. It was against Pittsburgh at PNC Park. First one is in for a strike on JB. Shuck last night 1 for 4, had an infield base hit in the first inning. Eventually came around to score on the Hamilton double in that first. 294 batting average for JB as he fouls off that offering. It's an 0-2 count. Straley has been on a roll, even though he's a little inconsistent as far as the up and down from AAA to the big leagues. But 5-game winning streak for him. Shuck fouls it off. Straley 5-0 with a 2.83 ERA. Opponent's hitting just 196 of his last 9 starts. Second time he's faced the Angels. Go back to April 29th at the Coliseum. Got a no decision, but gave up 6 runs, 7 hits, and 4 2/3. Shuck hits one in the air to right center field. Josh Reddick shading his eyes. Makes the grab for the first out. Defensively for Oakland tonight, Young, Crispin, Reddick in the outfield from left to right. The infield consists of Donaldson, Lowry, Green, and Moss from third to first, and Norris behind the plate.
Grant Green getting his first start at second base tonight, the local product from Canyon High School. Drafted as a shortstop, played some outfield too, now settling in his second base position. Very good as far as the glove turning double plays.
Makes his home here in Anaheim. First round pick back in 2009 at USC. Mike Trout looks at strike one. Trout had a 1 for 3 game. Won his 16th home run and extended his hitting streak to 11 games. 322 batting average, 60 runs batted in. This one fouled off to the right. And Mike now with the on-base percentage of 400 on the season.
Pretty good numbers in his career versus Straley too. 5 for 10. Both Trumbo and Trout good numbers against Straley.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The Angels had 2 home runs against Straley in his 4+ innings on April 29. Pujols and Trumbo got him as Trout reaches for this one, bounces it foul. Count remains at a ball and 2 strikes. That April 29th game eventually became the 19-inning extravaganza. 6 hours, 32 minutes, the longest game in Angels and A's history as far as time of game. That was game 1 of that 3-game series.
A lot of long games during that 3-game series, as I recall.
Inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That ball grazed him, but he will take his base. As a matter of fact, you are correct, sir. 6:32 time of game Monday. 3:39 in game 2 at the Coliseum. 3:35 on getaway day.
Some quick ones then, you're saying.
Yeah. So Trout is on board with 1 out. Albert steps in. Albert had some nice plate appearances last night, including his the out that he made in the first inning, a line out to Chris Young in left field. Young making a nice play on it, but Albert finished up going 2 for 4. Takes a breaking ball for his strike. Albert hit his 16th home run of the year, 491st of his career. Also picked up a single late in the game.
Trout with 21 stolen bases. Australia's allowed 10 and 13 attempts. He's got a quick move to first base, though. He has one pickoff this season.
Oh, 1 pitch. The breaking ball cut on and missed. 0-2. Next up for Albert on the all-time home run list, Fred McGriff and Lou Gehrig, who are tied for 26th, 493.
That's a pretty good sized lead right there for Mike Trout.
0-2, shot through the right side. There's a base hit. Trout will end up at third base, even though he stumbled a little bit. Still able to get there in easily. Reddick with a good throwing arm. And why not take the chance if you're Reddick? You know Pujols is more than likely not going to take the extra 90 feet.
Still made it a lot closer to than he anticipated. Wasn't hit real hard by Pujols in that hole between second and first. Trout going, reading that ball into the outfield, even though Reddick has one of the best arms in right field in baseball. Nice job of head first sliding, get the first to third for the Angels here.
So runners at the corners with 1 out. Here's Josh Hamilton, 2 for 4 last night with a double and a run batted in. Halos last night, though, 1 for 10 with men in scoring position, so they needed the long ball last night. It's been a struggle for them now over their last 4 games. Trout at third, Pujols at first. Short lead for Albert. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The good thing is Moss is still holding Pujols at first base, which is kind of a surprise now. It looks like he may move behind him. That created a big hole for Hamilton to shoot through.
Off-speed pitch. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Josh with that 2 for 4 game, now hitting 227. 14 home runs, 40 runs batted in. The double is 19th last night. A couple of triples. 2-0 in the air to left field. Chris Young is there, positioning himself, but he's going to have no play at the plate, and the Angels have a 1-0 lead. Sac fly for Josh Hamilton.
Old school Angel baseball to be able to cruise the first run of the game, go first to third, and a sac fly by Hamilton doing his job. Driving in his 41st run. Had a pitch that was elevated enough he could get the ball in the air and bring home Mike Trout.
Albert remains at first base. 2 outs now for Howie Kendrick. Howie 1 for 4 last night. It was the 16th double of the year. Double down the right field line. He will look at strike 1. Just like last night, the Angels striking first in the first. Kendrick's batting average now at 309 as he takes a breaking ball first strike. 11 home runs and 40 runs batted in. No 2s hold foul.
Australia's been throwing a lot of strikes here. 18 pitches thrown, 14 in the strike zone, 4 0-2 counts already in the game for him. Like we mentioned, coming in this game, another one of those A's pitcher that throws a lot of strikes, pitches inside very well, and changes speeds exceptionally well too.
Howie fouls it off to the right. Off speed gets Kendrick. The inning comes to an end with the Halos strike for a run on one hit. Leave a man on. We're through one. Angels on top 1-0. Norris and Reddick for Oakland here the second inning to face C.J. Wilson. Mike Trout, the hit by pitch, went to third on the single by Pujols, scored on the Hamilton sac fly.
Run number 67 scored by Mike Trout this year, which is third best, tied for third best in the American League.
Nate Freeman, the DH tonight, hitting .262 on the season. Looks at a strike. A couple of home runs, 17 runs batted in for Freeman. Oh, 2 count. Freeman 4 for 20 in the month of July. Bounces this one toward the middle. Ibar can't get to it. Is playing Freeman to pull. Seeing chopping single up the middle. And if Ibar's in the normal position, that's a routine out.
Yeah, it wasn't even a full commitment to his swing by Freeman, but perfect spot. Playing well in the hole, Eric Ibar. And then a pitch away, and just made contact with it and gets it through the infield.
Solid approach, 2 strikes.
You can see that a lot from Oakland. They're looking away. Just try to make some contact, force the defense to make a play against them.
And for the first time in a while, someone larger than Trumbo standing at first base next to Martin. Derek Norris, the catcher, looks at strike 1. Norris pinch hit last night with a popping out. It was in the 8th inning. .207 average, 5 home runs and 20 runs batted in. Oh, 2.
Fourth 0-2 count in the game for C.J. Wilson, which is a good sign for him. Some serious size. That's a good jump ball there at first base.
Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. And there is out number 1. First strikeout of the night for C.J. That'll bring up Josh Reddick. Hey folks, tomorrow the Angels of the Baseball Tomorrow Fund will host their annual equipment drive presented by Chevy. Fans are encouraged to bring new or used equipment to the stadium and donate in bins located at each gate. Donations will assist local Little Leagues, and are accepted beginning at 11 a.m. For more info, just log on at angels.com/community. Reddick last night 1 for 3. He looks at a strike. 220 batting average for Josh. 4 home runs and 32 runs batted in. He and Chris Young going with the old school stirrup socks.
Yeah, Reddick was thinking that pitch was high and out of the strike zone by CJ against him.
1 ball, 1 strike. Kuzi's been calling a lot of strikes here in the early going. Home plate umpire. 21 pitches, 16 in the strike zone for CJ. Freeman still at first with 1 out. Out back.
Reddick 3 for 12 against CJ. Some low batting averages against CJ, similar to last night with Oakland hitters against Jared Weaver, who was outstanding in 6 2/3 shutout baseball.
Career high 32 home runs and 85 runs batted in last year as he takes a big rip, comes up empty, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Wilson, 2 down.
Number 1, good feel for his slider in this game for CJ. Back-to-back strikeouts on that pitch. Nice job of getting on top of that pitch and snapping the slider off, going down and away against Reddick.
Lefty's hitting CJ to a 228 batting average. Right-hander's 249. He's got 2 outs here with a man at first. With a left-handed batter, Brandon Moss, who looks at a strike. I mean, Oakland splits offensively pretty identical. Lefties on the mound, 243 average as a team for Oakland. Right-handers 245. A little bit of a difference home and road splits. We touched on that last night. 250 out on the road compared to 238 at the Coliseum.
Always known more as a pitcher yard in Oakland. Another 0-2 count. 4 of them already in the game for CJ. Been very effective getting ahead of the batters.
0-2 on the way. Moss a swing and a miss. So after that leadoff single, Wilson strikes out the next 3. We'll head to the bottom of the 2nd with the Angels still on top. For the Halos, Borges, Jason Vargas, both guys on the disabled list looking on. Jared Weaver just now looking on, picked up his 4th win last night. Battled through 6 2/3, almost got through 7. Bunt single kind of cut that short.
Yeah, he made the pitches when he needed to. And when you think about what he's done against Oakland, his last 24 2/3 innings pitched, 0 runs allowed by Weaver. No, it's the best feeling when you pitch a game the night before and you have a good, effective outing and you get a W. Just kind of hang out there and start looking around, getting yourself ready for your next start. Work hard as far as your weights and your extra running. Play some long toss and prepare yourself for that next day when you have your bullpen session.
1 ball, 1 strike on Mark Trumbo. Looks at a fastball for strike 2. 1-2 now. Mark 0 for 4 last night. 242 batting average, 21 home runs, 57 runs batted in. Here's the 1-2. Off speed, looped out toward right center field. There's a base hit. Reddick over and cut it off. Trumbo stays right there at first. A leadoff single for him. Kayaspo will come up. Just on the heels of what you were just talking about, Weaver, and how you managers set up rotations. Thinking perhaps as you look at the Oakland A's, Bartolo Colon's been so electric this year. You figured, all right, that's the guy you're going to start the second half, the quote-unquote second half with on Friday night. No, Bartolo's going to pitch on Sunday. Mike Scioscia opted to go with Weaver last night. That means Weaver will pitch Wednesday against Minnesota. We'll skip that 4-game series against Oakland at the Coliseum, and then face the Texas Rangers Monday in Arlington.
I've always been a believer in playing a number of years, even in Kansas City, where I think after the All-Star break, unless you pitch in the All-Star game as a starter, you always want to put your number 1 pitcher that first game back out to start the second half, so-called second half. But that gives him an extra start, or maybe possibly 2 extra starts by the end of the season, because you get that first start out. I was surprised that Bob Melvin didn't have Bartolo Colon. He's been throwing the ball well. He's got good numbers against the Angels in his career. But the decision was to make sure, because Bartolo Colon has thrown a lot of innings this year so far, and a lot of pitches, that maybe those few extra days might help him out later on in the season.
But also guarantee that he gets 2 starts. As Trumbo takes off, a little hit and run on Moss. Has the bouncer, feeds Straley. And there is out number 1 as Trumbo ends up at second base. Colon will not only pitch tomorrow, but will also face the Angels once again at the Coliseum next weekend. So 1 out, man in scoring position for Hank Conger. And we'll go back to our AT&T Twitter poll question that we started last night. What did Hank Conger do on his All-Star break? And, it's a number of different options for Hank, of course. There's hunting, and then there's laying out, and then there's doing laundry. The hashtags themselves are almost 140 characters in length, but feel free to send us a tweet at Fox Sports West. We'll give you a running total. As of last night, laundry clearly in the lead for Hank Conger.
Pretty interesting All-Star break then, don't you think?
Yeah. Kind of boring, if you ask me. Hank takes the off-speed pitch up and away.
Yeah, but getting back to that decision on how you set up your rotation, yes, it's a good situation for Bob Melvin to have Bartolo Colon go twice against the Angels here early on in the second half. But the reality is you always want your number 1, your ace, to have that 1 extra start. It may be extremely important at the end of the season. And that's why I like what Mike Scioscia did with Jared Weaver. Granted, he won't pitch against Oakland in Oakland, but also he has an opportunity to get 2 wins here, potentially before the Angels embark on that road trip to Oakland and then Texas.
Two balls and no strikes on Hank, hitting .258 on the year, 6 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Off speed pitch, a good one from Straley. 2-1. Straley hit a man, gave up a single, sac fly to strikeout in the first. Leadoff single to Trumbo before getting Kayaspo. It bounced to Moss.
Ton of strikes by Straley, 30 pitches, 22 in the strike zone.
And it's hit hard onto right field. Reddick giving chase is there, makes the grab. Trumbo tags, trying to advance to third. The ball trickles in. And Mark is at third base with 2 outs now. It'll be up to Eric Ivor to try to bring it home.
Well, hit well by Conger. Good decision, though, by Trumbo to go back to the base, tag up. Being at third base, you've taken away that potential hard breaking ball into dirt from Straley if he gets ahead of the count against Eric Ivor.
Ibar last night 1 for 3. Picked up his 4th home run. It was off of A.J. Griffin down the right field line. .290 batting average. His 35 runs batted in. Corner infielders playing in for Oakland. One ball, no strikes.
That's so important for Ibar's reputation because he will bunt both the third base line and the first base line. You force those corner infielders in, then you can shoot a baseball by him. It's making contact, especially with Straley throwing something away against Ibar. He can punch that by Donaldson at third base.
That'll even up the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. One nothing Angels here in the second as Ibar hits one out to shallow right center field. Coco Chris comes charging in, makes the running catch. The inning comes to an end. So just like the A's, the Halos waste a leadoff single. We played 2. Halos still up.
Around the majors. Relievers on the move. A couple big names potentially moved at the trade deadline. And Rookie leading the Rays. Put up some big numbers for Tampa. They continue to win.
Yeah, they won again today. They worked out of a Joel Peralta worked out of a bases loaded no-out situation in the 8th inning. And then handed the ball off to Fernando Rodney as they took care of the Blue Jays for the 2nd straight game. 4-3 the final in that one. They have been on a roll of late. C.J. Wilson delivers a strike here on Grant Green. 0 for 9 to start his big league career. 4th game overall. Made his big league debut on July the 8th. Canyon High School and USC. 1st round pick. 13th overall in 2009.
Canyon, very good program. High school baseball down here in the SoCal area.
Reaches for that one and rolls it foul. Cal remains at no balls and 2 strikes. Right-handed batter, so he gets a start tonight in place of Eric Sogard. The lefty who got the start at second base last night for Oakland. Sogard had himself a couple of hits last night. Bouncer to the left side. Callaspo cuts it off. 1 out. Hey, Danny's Family Sundays are the perfect way to spend time with your family on
Sunday?
On Sundays, that's
Holy
right.
cow.
Hence the name. Free activities for kids in the right field pavilion include a variety of games as well as arts and crafts. The next Family Sunday takes place
Sunday.
Tomorrow at 12:35. It happens to be a Sunday, and that's against the Oakland A's. To purchase your tickets, just log on at Angels.com today.
That's tomorrow, Sunday.
That is, it's Family Sunday. Hopefully no rain tomorrow.
No rain.
Coco Crisp takes outside for ball one. He's 0 for 1. Bounced out to Callaspo to lead off the ball game. Yeah, it was weird to see the tarp. Number one, knowing that there is a tarp here.
That's what I was wondering if they actually had a tarp here.
Number two, that it wasn't just for show, that it actually rolls out and is a tarp as Chris bounces it foul.
And when I walked by that coming out, I was wondering what could be living in that tarp, because that doesn't get used a whole lot.
There's the tarp. The guys are coming out to stretch for batting practice, and the tarp was rolled out on the outfield grass. And then all of a sudden the rain picked up. They had to put the tarp on the field. Batting practice got banged on the field for both teams. And then things cleared up.
It's beautiful right now.
Yeah, nice little shower that came in. That's my second time that I can recall in now 4 seasons that I've seen the tarp roll down. I remember on Mother's Day a couple of years ago. This one's bounced toward the middle. Kendrick to his right has it. 2 outs. Yeah, that was 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Mother's Day on a Sunday, obviously.
Exactly.
Remember the brunch? They had the tables out on the warning track, and
yes.
It was rain. But that was a May thing, though, right?
Yeah, it was it's certainly unusual for this time of the year. But there's a potential for some rain the next couple of days, supposedly.
Yeah.
Doing my best Johnny Mountain impersonation for you.
It's dead on. I couldn't tell Mark Gubicza from Johnny. Here's Chris Young. Takes down and in.
Those little puffy clouds going flying through the air. They could bring some rain.
Oh, man. You got to get in front of a green screen. 1-0 to Young. This one's pulled foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Young lined out to Callaspo. So he's 0 for 1. Here's a look at what it looked like here. That's the actual tarp. That's that thing that they're pulling over the field.
A little different than some of the storms you see in Chicago or Kansas City or anywhere back east right now.
Two outs, nobody on. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Young.
We've seen that tarp being pulled out a number of years in Kansas City, where you had some big time thunderstorms coming in, where they had a tough time keeping that tarp anywhere close to the infield dirt with the wind getting going.
Strike, no, ball. Pretty close to being a strike on the corner. 2-1 instead. Yeah, no Vince Coleman automatic tarp roller in Kansas City. Only in St. Louis. That was pretty cool. Not that he got hurt, but the fact that they had this thing that lifted up on the first base side, and that's where the tarp was hidden. As Young chases the breaking ball. He's saying he foul tipped it. Kuzi rings him up, and it's the 3rd out of the inning. 4th strikeout for C.J. Wilson. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd. Angels still on top. Counts in the second, one in the third. The Angels leading at 1-0 as we start the bottom of the third inning. Top of the order coming up for the Halos. Shuck, Trout, and Pujols to face Dan Straily. Gave up a run in the first inning. Leadoff single in the second, but then retired the next three. Callasco, Conger, and Ibar. Shuck 0 for 1, hit a fly ball to shallow right in the first inning. No balls on a strike. Straily, 24 years of age, born in Redlands, California, makes his home in Springfield, Oregon. Delivers inside. Got to the big leagues last year. Got 7 starts under his belt for Oakland. 2-1 last year. 3.89 ERA. Spent time at Double-A as well as Triple-A. 24th round pick by the A's in 09. This one's popped up. Shallow left. Lowry, the shortstop, drifting out. Makes the catch for the first out.
Now it's time for our Lowe's Never Stop Improving. And Mike Trout certainly has done so each month this season. Started out with a .261 batting average in April. Each month since then has increased his batting average. Runs scored the same. Very productive at the plate, utilizing his speed, hitting the ball the other way, and showing power with 16 home runs on the season.
First one's a strike. Straily was ahead of the count on Trout in the first inning before grazed him with the pitch on the inside part of the plate. Got his left forearm area. Trout eventually scored the lone run in this one. Hamilton sac fly.
Well, these Oakland pitchers do not waste any time throwing the baseball. They stay right on the pitching rubber. We'll see it again tomorrow with Bartolo Colon. Doesn't take any time either. Griffin last night, same thing.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Jared Parker next to Griffin there too. Same type of pitcher.
Yep.
Good fastballs, great command of the changeup, and no waste of time. Tommy Malone, same thing. A lot of good changeups.
Tops in the American League as far as staff ERA. As Trout looks at a called strike 3. Second punch out for Straily. 2 outs here in the third. Now to bring up Albert Pujols.
It's time for an AT&T U-verse rewind. Last night, Pujols gets a mistake by Griffin. A breaking ball to stay to the inner half. Turns on it, hits it out to left field. His 16th home run, 58th RBI of the season for Pujols, who had some good swings last night. A couple hits in the game.
Albert looks at a strike. Pujols with a single out to right field in the first inning. 1 for 1. Career home run list. He's 28 now. 0-2.
Five times in the game already for Straily. 0-2 count.
0-2 on the way. This was punched beyond the reach of Brian Moss into right. 2-out single for Albert. So back-to-back multi-hit games for him. That'll bring up Hamilton.
Just went with the pitch. Trying to do too much. There we go, fastball. Norris wanted that fastball elevated. Went fastball away, and Pujols punches it in the right field for his second hit of the game.
Hamilton sac fly in the first, picked up his 41st run batted in. Oh, 1 count. Good off-speed pitch from Straily. Moss, of course, playing behind Pujols at first base with 2 outs. Left-handed batter at the plate. One ball, 1 strike. 46 pitches thrown by Straley. 34 have been strikes, 2 punch outs, no walks. Now 3 hits allowed. All 3 singles. Off the plate.
Well, right now you might see a changeup from Australia against Hamilton, even though it's a fastball count.
Evens up the count.
Well, he sells that off-speed pitch so well. As a hitter, you think can react fastball. It's got good movement away from a left-handed batter, too.
Saw it last night from Griffin, too. Two on the way. Breaking ball. Just missed outside. Full count. Kendrick on deck.
It's important, too, in a 3-2 count with 2 out. Allows Pujols to get a little bit of a running start here in case Hamilton could hit a ball into the gap.
First 3-ball count that Straley has had in this game. Albert takes off. 3-2s rolled foul with the off-speed pitch. Halos with a run in the first, leading at 1-0 here in the third with 2 outs. Albert again takes off. Another 3-2. The swing and a miss on the changeup. The inning comes to an end. 3 in the books. It is 1-0 Angels.
Softball contest at the All-Star game. I saw Raleigh Fingers, as he usually is.
It's a great look if he could pull it off.
Yes.
Here in the 4th inning, C.J. Wilson to face 3, 4, and 5 for the Oakland A's. Lowry, Donaldson, and Freeman. C.J. 4 strikeouts. 2 hits allowed. Double by Lowry in the first inning. Single by Freeman leading off the second. 39 pitches, 30 strikes for Wilson. One ball, no strikes. In the air to right. Hamilton back a couple of steps. Puts it away for the first down. We here at Fox Sports West are offering a special discount to our viewers on Angels tickets for Monday's game with our Fox Sports West ticket takeover. Just log on to angels.com/FSWest during this broadcast and enter promo code FSWest. You can save up to 50% on the select tickets while supplies last. All Ticketmaster fees do apply. Hurry and log on now. These tickets will sell out fast.
Well, the Twins been playing pretty good baseball lately. They've won 3 in a row. Lead the Cleveland Indians tonight. Going to win their 4th game in a row.
Josh Donaldson looks at a breaking ball for strike one. Minnesota 40-53 at the start of the day.
And so, of course, that game, Maurer and Morneau both have 2 hits. Chance to watch those 2 play.
Evens up the count at 1-1. Donaldson 0 for 1. Grounded out sharply to Kendrick to end the first. A couple of other scores of importance to these 2 teams. Texas losing to Baltimore 7-0 in Arlington. This one bounced over to Castro. The game in Arlington too, just in the 4th inning. Baltimore swinging the bats well. They won last night and leading early in Texas, but you can never say it's cruise control in that ballpark.
No. You would think Texas may be in line to try to pick up a pitcher or 2 for the trade deadline here. Non-waiver trade deadline July 31st.
Yeah, they've got a couple of guys on the menu, Colby Lewis and Alexi Ogando. They got Joakim Soria in the bullpen just recently. Freeman lines one to second. That is a 1-2-3 inning for C.J. Wilson. Right at the bottom of the 4th, still 1-0 Halos.
Go big at a Jack in the Box near you with Jack's new Big Stack Burger. And by Chase. Manage your account on the go whenever and wherever you want. The Chase mobile app, so you can.
The Angels will the run in the first inning, lead it 1-0 here at the bottom of the 4th inning. Howie Kendrick, Mark Trumbo, and Alberto Callaspo to face Dan Straley, who has a couple of strikeouts, 3 strikeouts to be exact, no walks and 3 hits allowed. Howie a strikeout victim to end the first. The Angels second baseman is 0 for 1. First one's a strike. So that graphic there, 110 hits, second most behind Dustin Pedroia, with 110 hits on the season. Ground ball back up the middle to lead off single. Second time tonight the Angels have had a leadoff knock.
Pretty good approaches against Australia overall. Cole certainly very effective, and Trumbo the same thing going the other way. Howie going back up the middle. You have a guy throwing a lot of strikes. Time you got to break a ball that was elevated, but you try to pull that ball. That's a routine ground ball to short. Instead, went right back up the middle, rewarded with the base hit.
Nobody out and a man on for Trumbo. Single to right, leading off the second. Good numbers this year against the Athletics.
Four for 6 in his career versus Straley, with a home run and 3 RBI for Trumbo.
One ball, one strike. Dino flashed to the sides. We saw Mike Scioscia start Trumbo after his leadoff single in the second inning. Cayaspo bouncing one to Moss and fed Straley for the out. Trumbo eventually stranded at third. One. This one lined over to second base. They fired back to first. Now he's easily back in there. But one out.
A lot of times you won't put a hit and run on Mark Trumbo at the plate because you're thinking in terms of a 2-run swing. Compared to making him hit the ball on the ground, the power that Trumbo has, like how he wasn't going. But you definitely will see the hit and run now with Cayaspo, his ability to hit the ball on the ground, and Howie with good speed. 6 stolen bases in 8 attempts. Cayaspo's always been a guy with good contact.
0 for 1 with that ground out into second. Donaldson playing it over at third base. First one to Cayaspo. In there for a strike. A lot of strikes thrown tonight by both guys, Straley and C.J. Wilson. Quick throw over. Now easily back. We're talking about oddities. We were talking about the scoreboard at the top of the inning. Seattle has just closed out the Houston Astros. They won their second straight against the Astros, 4-2 today in Houston. Mariners had 1 hit and struck out 15 times and still won 4-2.
That's a productive 1 hit.
Yep. Michael Saunders had that hit, and it was a double for him. Off speed pitch, off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That homer string that Seattle had been on, 24 consecutive games with at least 1 home run snapped tonight.
And that's the thing when you think about it. When you have 1 hit, you score 4 runs. You would assume there had to be a home run in there.
Halos leading this with 1-0 with a manufactured run in the first inning. Hit by a pitch. That was Trout with 1 out. Pujols singled him to third, and Trout scored on the sac fly by Hamilton. 1-2 pitch. This one's fouled back. Count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. 4 hits for the Angels tonight. Oakland has 2. This one's out to the alley in left center field. Crisp was shading him that way, tracks it down. Nice running catch by Coco Crisp for out number 2.
Tremendous coverage in the outfield by Coco Crisp. Seen that a number of years, especially off the left-handed batter's bat, going away from me as a center fielder, but the coverage, playing him to hit the ball that way, but still that baseball's running away from him, makes it look easy with that speed he has, closing speed in center field.
So 2 outs, Kendrick still at first base. Here's Hank Conger. Hit one well back in the second inning, but to Reddick in right field. 0 for 1. Tied up with that fastball up and in. May have gotten Norris on the backswing.
We're looking and hoping for a first pitch fastball. Looked like he got his glove. One thing about Hank, he doesn't get cheated.
It's like the old Reggie corkscrew swing there.
Saw that swing. They were playing highlights of the All-Star game. That one he hit in Detroit. Wow.
Skies this one. Foul territory, the first base side. Moss gives it a look, as does Green, and it's in the seats. 0-2 count. Yeah, that one hit the transformer at Old Tiger Stadium, 1972.
Did Kirk Gowdy have that call? That I remember listening to that. It was a great call, that saying this baseball was hit well, and then all of a sudden you don't even know where that baseball went. You see many go up in that part at Old Tiger Stadium.
71 or 72. I forget. They all run together. You know, it was 3, 4, 5 at the time. 0-2 count on Conger with 2 outs. Leadoff single. Howie Kendrick still standing at first base.
Not a bad time to go now, anticipating a breaking ball in the dirt if you're Howie.
Dribbler foul of the off-speed pitch. Another good crowd tonight here. Last night, 43,000, 515 in the house. Tonight after the game, Billy Currington, Summer Concert Series.
That should be a good one.
A lot of Cowboy boots in attendance. Hank chases the off-speed pitch. Straley just picked up his 4th strikeout of the night. 4 in the books here. The Big A 1-0 Angels.
Rethink possible. And by 76, we're on the driver's side.
Top of the fifth inning here at Angel Stadium, 1-0 Halos. C.J. Wilson has thrown 45 pitches, 34 for strikes, 4 punch outs, just like Dan Straley has. And here in the fifth inning, he'll face Norris, Reddick, and Moss. Same 3 guys that C.J. struck out in the second after he gave up that leadoff single to Nate Freeman. Norris, a Kansas native, more from the Washington Nationals in the Gio Gonzalez trade. '68th game for Norris this year. Right-handed batter looks to strike.
He's done a nice job behind the plate. He's thrown out 29% of would-be base stealers this season.
Oh, 2.
6th 0-2 count of the game for CJ. Kind of with that hard slider down and in last at bat.
One ball, 2 strikes.
It looked like Hank Conger wanted him to throw a hard slider down and in, and CJ shook it off and wanted to go up and in with a fastball.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking pitch in the dirt. Evens up to count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mild temperatures tonight, especially after the rains came through. Muggy leading up to it, but cooled off nicely. Norris yanks that one foul. Count remains at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just down in front of that off speed.
This slightly. That was a curveball, the pitch before a hard slider. When you think in terms of fastball, go run away with it.
In the air, foul on the first base shot. Still at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's good pitch selection by CJ. Tried that fastball right on the outside corner, and Norris late on it. Now you can go back with a fastball away there or the hard slider down and in.
Very well rested. His last start a week ago Wednesday. That was at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. 7 innings now. 1 run on 4 hits. From 0-2 to 3-2 now.
He's muscled up a couple fastballs inside to make sure he didn't make a mistake with his CJ against Norris. First time in the game where CJ's thrown 3 pitches out of the strike zone to a batter. First 3-ball count.
Payoff on the way. Norris bounces it foul. Gallego, the third base coach, has it. And what a job Gallego did, too, by the way, in the home run derby. He was the guy throwing the batting practice at Yoenis Cespedes. Well, it's hard enough as it is just to throw regular BP, but to do it in a home run derby and throw strike after strike in the zone in which the hitter wants.
And Cespedes wanted a certain spot, and Gallego got it there each time. Dino Ebel helped Vlad Guerrero win that a few years ago.
There's Mike.
Pretty solid player throughout his career, Mike Gallego.
Norris drives one out toward right center field. Trout moving over. Calls off Hamilton. Makes a catch on the track for the first And CarMax invites you to get your vehicle appraised at Angel Stadium and meet Adam Kennedy on Tuesday when the Halos take on the Twins. Log on now to foxsportswest.com/CarMax to sign up for your complimentary parking and schedule your vehicle appraisal. Hurry, space is limited.
It's great timing. Adam Kennedy and the Twins in town.
Yeah, it seems synergistic.
Yes.
No question.
Whatever that word means, yes.
And get your vehicle appraised at the same time. Josh Reddick taking a strike. The right fielder's 0 for 1. A punch out victim in the second. Committed to that breaking ball. Could not hold up. 0-2 count.
I got to try that same exact pitch. I mean, the thought process is you could try to sneak a fastball by him. If he's going to swing at something like that, you got to try it again.
And down goes Reddick. 2 outs.
Good decision by CJ and Hank Conger. Went with that exact same pitch. Finished him off. Set up the target away. Well off the plate. And Reddick chases. Second time he struck out on a hard slider away against CJ Wilson.
That's that whole thing of perhaps, all right, the scouting report says you could do this to him. But then you see a swing or you see an approach, and you kind of have to just adjust on the fly. And it's not just the pitcher, it's the catcher as well involved in that kind of conversation or that pitch calling or pitch selection.
Yeah, sometimes just don't try to outthink the hitter. When you see a swing like that, you got to go right back. And even if he didn't swing, you can go right back with it again. When you swing at something that far out of the strike zone, you're not seeing the ball well as a hitter against a certain pitcher.
1-1. Moss takes outside. 2 balls and a strike. A's first baseman struck out to end the second. 0 for 1. Wilson now with 5 strikeouts, no walks, 2 hits allowed.
Well, it is still early in the game, but this is the best slider I've seen from CJ Wilson. Play by a fan. The upper deck on a foul ball.
Had it the whole way.
61 pitches thrown for CJ. Outstanding slider. Be a spot to throw his slider now.
2-2. Moss a swing and a miss. Down he goes. A 1-2-3 inning for Wilson. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. Angels still on top. Still leaded as we start the bottom of the 5th inning. Kids passing the popcorn. Taught him early.
Sounds good, some popcorn.
Shovel some out, pass it around.
Yes.
Let's go. 9-1-2 for the Angels here in the 5th inning. Ibar, Shuck, and Trout.
wonder if Ivar may think to try to bring a bunt down the first base line here to start off this inning.
Eric hit a fly ball to center field in the second. Tries to bunt his way on, pops it up to short though, and Lowry is there to make the grab for the first down. Not a bad idea if he gets it out of the third base line. Folks, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. One out, nobody on for J.B. Shuck. Dan Straley's done a nice job against the Angels. 4 hits, all 4 singles. Shuck is 0 for 2, takes ball 1. Twice Straley's given up leadoff singles. Trumbo and Kendrick, second and fourth respectively, but nothing more than that. Falls behind here on J.B. 2 balls, no strikes.
You haven't seen that too often. When he's been behind in the count, he's been able to use his changeup or curveball to go right back in the count.
Three balls, no strikes. Trout on deck.
Good idea to take that one now, unless it's right down the middle part of the plate for J.B. Shuck. You think in terms of getting on with the walk also.
Shuck pops it up down the line. Long run in for Young. And same for Lowry going on. It's Young, the left fielder, making the catch. 2 outs.
Young had to go a long way, then he had to deal with Jed Lowry going back also on the baseball. Good communication at the end allowed Jed Lowry to get out of the way. Much easier play for an outfielder coming in on a fly ball as compared to an infielder going back on one.
The 2 outs base is clear for Trout here in the 5th. Trout 0 for 1, hit by a pitch in the first, struck out looking in the third. Nice little wrinkle there, little breaking ball just below the knees for ball 1.
I believe Trout's going to be looking away this at bat. Straley got him out looking at that third strike on a fastball in the outside corner last at bat.
Looped out towards shallow right. Here comes Josh Reddick. Not going to get there. Falls in for a base hit. That's a 12-game hitting streak for Trout. A Flair single for Mike. 5th hit of the night for the Halos.
Still the thought process was for Trout, he was going to look away. Still good running action by Straley. He's been commanding both sides of the plate so well in this game.
12-game hitting streak matches his career high established last July, 8th through the 23rd. He's on board for Pujols. Albert 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. Back-to-back multi-hit games for Albert now. They pitch out, nothing's going on.
I think Straley did differently there. He was quicker to the plate, more of a slide step, didn't hold the ball as long. As a base runner, that's a tip to you that something different is going on. As a pitcher, you try to do everything exactly the same on a pitch out.
The other thing that was interesting too is that after Norris gave the sign, set up quickly inside, bounced to the outside corner, then stepped down for the pitch out. Albert pulls one over to third, backhanded by Donaldson. Easy throw across the diamond, and the inning comes to an end. 5 complete here at the Big A, and the Angels maintain a 1-0 lead.
Talk about CJ's slider being outstanding so far in the game. He certainly has had it working. Norris, Reddick swinging at a slider. Moss, slider down and away. The 3 punch outs in the second. And the slider down and into Chris Young. Slider again, the Reddick well out of the strike zone. And finishes off the last inning with another hard slider against Moss. 6 punch outs in the game. Ron Guidry, Steve Carlton type slider working today for CJ Wilson.
They'll face 9-1-2 here in the 6th inning for Oakland. Green, Crisp, and Young. 12 in a row retired by Wilson since giving up that leadoff single to Freeman back in the second. Kayasma playing in. Has his Trumbo over at first base. Green takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Green 0 for 1. Bounced out to Kayasma leading off the 3rd inning.
That's a pretty good slider once again from CJ.
Two balls and a strike. Green at AAA Sacramento, 318 average, 11 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Which he got called up on July the 8th. His big league debut against Pittsburgh that night. 2-1 pitch. 2-2.
Now with a 2-2 count, he doesn't come back with that slider.
Swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch. Down he goes. He's out number 1, 7th strikeout, and now 3 consecutive for CJ.
Another great feel for that slider to get another swing and miss. Certain games, as a pitcher, you have a feel for a pitch. CJ certainly has a feel for this pitch today.
Coco Crisp twice has grounded out. Once the 3rd, once the 2nd. That makes him 0 for 2 tonight. One and 0. 2 hits that Wilson has allowed. A double to Lowry with 2 outs in the 1st inning. And then that single by Freeman leading off the 2nd. 1-0 pitch. So bouncer foul. Evens up the count. 69 pitches by Wilson, 50 strikes, 19 balls tonight. Tempo has been what we have seen of late from CJ. 1-2.
Not wasting time, not walking around the mound at all. Nick Busher certainly has been preaching that with CJ. Don't try to think too much of the mound. Trust the stuff you have. He's got electric stuff.
Down to the dirt. 2-2.
.71 pitches from 51 in the strike zone for CJ.
Two roll to the left side. Diving stop by Kayaspo. Quickly gets up. Throws out. Crisp 2 down.
Kayaspo certainly has been active in this game, especially with CJ. That ability to throw his cut fastball and slider down and in right-handed batters. Very good play by Kayaspo. Working on his throw. It has been much more accurate of late for him.
Two down, nobody out for Chris Young. Lined out in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd. Former Arizona Diamondback takes down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike tonight in place of Cespedes. Again, out with that sore left wrist. And Young gets one out toward left field, not hit very deep. J.B. Shuck comes running in, dives and makes the catch. Terrific play by J.B. Shuck. Another 1-2-3 inning for C.J. Wilson.
JB had a great read on this baseball right away. Keeps his eye on the ball and slides and makes a great play at the end of the inning.
J.B. Shuck on a nice catch, making a 1-2-3 sixth inning for C.J. and the Angels. Good jump on it. Squeezes it. That's 15 in a row retired by Wilson as we start the bottom of the sixth inning with the Angels still on top.
When you throw a lot of strikes and you work quickly, the defenders behind you make those plays.
Hamilton swings to the first pitch, loops it foul. It'll be Hamilton, Kendrick, and Trumbo here in the sixth inning against Dan Straley, who himself has done a terrific job tonight. 5 singles allowed by Straley, 4 strikeouts and no walks. Hamilton 0 for 1, a sac fly in the first inning, a strikeout in the third. One on the way. Hamilton fouls it off to the left, off speed pitch.
We talked about the offense with the home run ball last night. A great job by Jared Weaver in the bullpen, but we saw some outstanding defensive plays also. Iannetta pick off at first. Callaspo down the line. And the importance of all 3 phases coming together for the Angels here in the second half need to be consistent. Weaver outstanding 6 2/3 shutout baseball.
Another 1-2 from Straley. It's up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Changeup is what got Hamilton swinging in the third inning. Figure after showing that one up and in.
Yeah, you would almost assume after an up and in fastball, it's going to be change up away.
Hamilton skies one out to center field. Just underneath it. Coco Crisp is there. 1 away.
Now let's take a look at that Carl's Jr. Sports update around the majors. Relievers on the move. A number of bullpen arms could be available. Matt Lindstrom, John Axford, Jesse Crane is a guy that everyone has talked about from the White Sox once healthy enough. And rookie leading the Rays, Will Myers. In .310 with 4 home runs, 18 RBIs. The Rays are 21-8 since he's returned to the roster.
Howie Kendrick with a single for the second time tonight. Back up the middle. 6th hit allowed by Straley. With 1 out here in the 6th. That'll bring up Trumbo. And Will Myers, you know, is a lot of hype for him considering he was the super prospect that went from Kansas City to Tampa Bay in the James Shields trade. Quietly getting the job done.
Remember, he was a catcher when he was first He was drafted by the Royals, and all of a sudden made that transition to the outfield, giving that power threat. They've always had that good pitching, the Rays. Now have some offense to go along with those great arms.
No stoppage in play as a beach ball landed down on the warning track in right center. Trumbo 1 for 2. Single in the second. Lined out to Grant Green, the second baseman. That was in the 4th inning.
Well, you got to believe a number of clubs are going to try to add some arms to the bullpen. That's always been the big move you'll see before the trade deadline is relievers.
K-Rod might be on the move as well.
Done a pretty good job back in that closer role for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's struggling this season, so they're going to try to move some pieces to get some young players back.
No one. Breaking ball just off the plate. Evens up the count at 1-1. Halos have had just 2 base runners in scoring position tonight. That was Trout in the 1st inning. He scored on the sac fly by Hamilton.
You throw over to first base here, see if a hit and run is going to be on.
Trumbo was the other one, leading off the second with a single that moved to second on the ground up by Kayasman, eventually stranded at third. 84 pitches thrown by Straley. 60 have been strikes.
Now, at this point of the game, you might see Mike Scioscia put a hit and run on with Trumbo at the bat, because they're trying to create another run or two here to give CJ a little more breathing room.
Ground ball to second base. Green backs up, flips it to Lowry for Roundtree, then a first in time, hitting every double play. 6 in the books here. The Big A. The Angels maintaining their 1-0 lead. Nothing, and we'll revisit our Hyundai key to the game once again.
With good direction, the rapport between Hank Conger and C.J. Wilson has been outstanding, especially Hank Conger realizing that C.J. has such a good slider working tonight. He's been utilizing that pitch, especially when he gets ahead of the count. So, combination, the good rapport between C.J. and Hank Conger. Very effective so far in this game for the Angels against Oakland.
3, 4, and 5 for the A's here in the 7th. Lowry, Donaldson, and Freeman against C.J. Wilson. 7 punch outs, no walks, 2 hits allowed. Lowry, the shortstop, doubled back in the first inning. Hit a fly ball to right field in the fourth. 1 for 2 tonight. .75 pitches thrown by CJ. 76th is lifted foul without a play on the first base side. 0-1 now on Lowry. A good pitch. 0-2.
He's able to throw the slider back door in the outside corner against righties and down and in.
Kiger sets up outside. That one is off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Tried to go back door with his cut fastball. Not a bad miss. 8-0-2 counts in the game for CJ tonight.
Lowry just got a piece of that one.
Got a base hit, a double down the right field line on a fastball away. His first at bat. Got to stay in and down against him.
Challenge with a fastball up, fouled back. Still in the ball at 2 strikes. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on for Oakland. 1 run, 6 hits, no errors, 5 left on for the Angels.
80 pitches thrown for CJ, 58 in the strike zone for him.
Lowry grounds one towards short, backhanded by Ibar. 1 away. Hey folks, on Tuesday the Angels take on the Twins at 7:05. Fans in attendance will receive the Surfing Rally Money courtesy of Yokohama while supplies last. Purchase tickets today at Angels.com or by stopping by the Angel Stadium ticket office.
Can't wait.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Pretty pumped.
You let them sit in between us on the flight.
There's so much room, too.
Yes, there's so much room.
Non-reclining seats.
Yes, comfortable.
Donaldson takes upstairs for ball 1. 0 for 2. Ground ball to second and a ground ball to third for Donaldson. Two balls, no strikes. Good off-speed pitch. Donaldson left off the American League squad, but certainly numbers-wise very deserving of being an all-star this year. Bounces this one to short. Ibar waves off Callaspo. 2 outs.
Nice job by CJ getting back to the count again. A weak ground ball after falling behind on a dangerous hitter like Donaldson. 2-0. Eight ground ball outs in the game for CJ.
Here's Freeman, the DH. Single and a line out. Did he go around? No. Chris Guccione, the first base umpire, says he did not go. Good breaking ball from Wilson. 1-1.
Good cut fastball. That's what you're seeing more out of CJ now as the game has progressed. His fastball and then cut fastball.
Good location on that fastball. 1-2.
So now you have options. You can go back out in the outside corner with a fastball or throw that hard slider down and in.
Got to chase the breaking ball. Rolls it foul.
Well, when you see a hitter swing like that, now you think in terms of I can even bounce a slider down and in. He's going to commit to the swing. You just have to have trust of your catcher to be able to block that pitch if it's in dirt.
Another 1-2. Freeman, this one in the air to left field, hit well. Shot going back on it. Just shy of the track. Hauls it in. It stays in the yard. 18 in a row retired by Wilson since the single by Freeman in the second. Angels still up 1-0. Back in the first inning, sac fly by Josh Hamilton, plating Mike Trout. And here in the bottom of the seventh, it'll be the bottom third of the order. Kayaspo, Conger, and Ivar. There's Dan Straley. He himself has done a fantastic job for the Oakland A's.
He has been red hot on the mound of late. See why. Very effective. Even when he's behind in the count, he's got an amazing ability to throw his off-speed pitches in the strike zone to get back into the count.
Kayaspo's 0 for 2 with a ground ball to first and a fly ball to center. And he skies one out toward right field, chasing Reddick back. He pulls up. That is gone. A big fly for Alberto Kayaspo. First pitch swinging here in the seventh, makes it 2-0 Angels.
Boy, Kayaspo, you talk about jumping on a pitch early with a guy throwing a lot of strikes, knowing something's going to be around the strike zone, and Kayaspo is at his 5th home run. It was elevated out over the plate and did not miss that pitch. Looks like he tried to turn over a two-seam fastball that stayed in the middle of the plate. Kayaspo made him pay for 34th RBI by Kayaspo, who's been outstanding in the field. Comes through with a big home run there.
8th home run allowed now by Straley this year. This being his 15th start. 0-1. Swing and a miss. First home run for Alberto Kayaspo since June 9th at Fenway Park. Telling Albert and Hamilton how to do it.
How to turn on Straley's little two-seam fastball.
Hank bounces this one to second. Green out of shallow right's got it. One away. Hank now for 3 on the night. Brings up Ibar. We'll go back to our AT&T Twitter poll question of the series. What did Hank Conger do on his All-Star break? Laundry still leading the charge at 66% of the vote.
We got to change that one up a little bit, don't we, for Hank?
I do believe that we are going to get a surprise answer from Hank tomorrow on our show.
We hope he changes it up a little bit.
Eric Ibar. Skies went out to center. Coco Crisp is there, puts it away, 2 outs. Eric go for 3 as well. Now here comes J.B. Shuck. Australia's gotten Shuck on the pitches up in the strike zone tonight. 3 fly ball outs.
Well, it's good to see Callaspo jump on a pitch. Same thing with Shuck here. If you see a fastball now, you got to bring it down in the strike zone. Jump on that first pitch. You have a pitcher that's around the strike zone consistently throughout the game.
Shows bunt, takes the breaking ball low.
Both pitchers have been outstanding as far as throwing strikes. 91 pitches thrown, 66 in the strike zone.
Two balls and no strikes.
Australia's faced 28 batters in this game, 20 first pitch strikes for them.
This one back toward the middle. Green can't get it even with the dive, and it's a 2-out single for JB. He's going to try to stretch it into a double, and he is in there with a hustle double.
Boy, as I was watching him go down to the batter's box from our view up here, you knew in his mind he was going to challenge Coco Crisp throwing arm. Some solid arms in the outfield for the A's in this everyday lineup, but the reality is he hit the ball on the ground, and right away thinking in terms of getting in the scoring position for Mike Trout, slides in there with a head-first slide, 13th double. Coco very good as far as coverage in the outfield, but does not possess a very strong throwing arm, so JB challenged him and was successful.
See some scrambling going on in the Oakland A's bullpen. Nobody warming as of yet. 2 outs and a man in scoring position for Mike Trout. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Allen's on the corner, breaking ball, 0-1. Sean Doolittle, lefty, getting ready. Double for Shuck, by the way, his 13th of the year. Check swinging, went around. 0-2. Callaspo leading off the 7th inning with a home run, his 5th of the year, 34th RBI. With 2 outs, J.B. Shuck looking at the double. Just looking for some insurance runs. Here's the 0-2. Foul back. Fastball, the inside part of the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes still.
Now, if you wonder if he's going to go away with either a slider or a fastball. And if Trout can get one into right field, it's going to be important for JB to read that well and get a good jump, because Reddick has a very accurate arm in right field.
Goes with the off-speed line to center, though. Coco Crisp is there to make the grab. The inning comes to an end, but Alberto Callaspo picks up his 5th of the season on the very first pitch. It started at the bottom of the 7th. We've played 7 here at the Big A. It is 2-0 Angels. Aspo making it 2-0 Angels. Straley talking with Kurt Young, the pitching coach. Straley, even though he gave up that home run, has thrown the ball extremely well throughout this game, but is trailing. The Angels do make a defensive replacement in left field. Colin Cowgill takes over for J.B. Shuck, and he will be in that leadoff spot. Here in the 8th inning for Oakland, Norris, Reddick, and Moss. 6, 7, and 8 for the Athletics. Norris, the catcher, 0 for 2, a strikeout victim in the second. Hit a fly ball to deep center in the 5th. Dangerous power for Norris. All 5 of his home runs come against left-handed pitching. CJ at 90 pitches. 7 punch-outs, no walks, 2 hits allowed. Norris fouls off the first one. It's an 0-1 count. Game in Texas still 7-0 Orioles in the bottom of the 7th. Seattle defeated Houston 4-2. White Sox over the Braves 10-6. Tampa Bay took care of Toronto 4-3. Yankees over the Red Sox. Minnesota defeated Cleveland 3-2. Tigers also dropped their second to Kansas City 9-6-5. That was Justin Verlander. Now
he continues to struggle.
Here it's 2-0 Angels in the 8th. 1-1. Way inside. 2 balls and a strike. Boy, that off-speed pitch so far tonight for C.J. Wilson, the fastball counts, has been dead on.
The feel for that pitch been outstanding for him.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Norris leading off this 8th inning. A couple of lefties to follow, and Reddick and Moss. Now CJ too much time once again.
And that's when you still have that trust in your catcher, your CJ. Hank Congress called a great game behind the plate, and I just trust him. He has that feel of what the hitter's trying to do here.
Full count.
The second full count of the game for CJ. So Hank Conger, he's looking at Norris, seeing what he's trying to do.
There's the payoff. Norris bounces it foul.
See, a lot of times the hitter will give away what he's trying to do, the movement of his feet, setting up his hands. Is he looking in? Is he looking away? Is he looking for something off speed? That's why you have trust, especially when you've worked so well with your catcher during the course of the game.
Count remains at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Another payoff pitch. Norris takes upstairs, and it's a leadoff walk. That snaps a string of 18 consecutive batters retired by Wilson. It's the first walk of the night. And that'll bring up Josh Reddick. MLB.TV celebrates 11 years. You can catch all of the second half action in HD quality. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 350 mobile and connected devices. Just visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Reddick 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs. representing the tying run now as Callaspo's in at third base. 1-0. Conger's going to go out, talk things over. First time CJ has had to work from the stretch since the second inning.
You might see some action out of the bullpen here shortly. Mike Butcher going to call down potentially to the bullpen to get some arms ready.
.99 pitches for Wilson. One 0 pitch. Breaking ball for a strike.
The pitch is now thrown by CJ. Very economical, really, throughout the entire game. Just the fifth inning, where he threw 17 pitches.
One. Reddick lays off. 2 balls and a strike. That fifth inning, by the way, was his inning in which he faced these same 3 guys, and Norris gave him a battle in that one before hitting that fly ball to center. Here he walks to lead off the 8th. Dane De La Rosa, first man up for the Halos.
Very important what Hank Conger just did. Block that breaking ball in the dirt. Looks at a 2-1 count, was out of the strike zone, but you still keep a double play in order. If that gets away from him, Norris is able to advance, and you've taken away that potential double play ball.
3 balls and a strike now. It's kind of left CJ in a hurry here. 102 pitches. Reddick fouls it off. Full count. Season high for Wilson as far as pitches thrown, 123. That was against Oakland on May the 1st. 2 starts ago against Boston, threw 121 and 6 2/3. And very well rested.
His stuff is still excellent.
9 days of rest. Payoff pitch. Reddick takes a called strike. 3 down. He goes for out number 1.
That wasn't a perfect breaking ball as far as location. It was elevated, but the speed of the pitch gets Reddick looking. His 3rd punch out of the game. Got underneath that slider, but it got the top part of the strike zone.
Reddick did not like the call of Phil Cousy, but it's the first out here in the 8th. Here's Brandon Moss, left-hand hitting first baseman. Twice has struck out himself. Norris still at first. Moss takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes. The Angels in the bottom of the 8th inning will have Pujols, Hamilton, and Kendrick due up. Sean Doolittle still warming in the pen for Oakland. Pretty good pitch, look like. 2 balls, no strikes.
Especially when it crosses the plate.
Yeah.
Again, think about Brandon Moss. He has very good power to left center field, so you don't want to leave something up out over the plate.
Cowgill playing it the opposite way, almost toward the line in left field. 2-0, 3-0 now. It's a lot of 3-ball counts here in the 8th inning. All 3 batters have reached that plateau. Grant Green, the second baseman, on deck. De La Rosa's ready to go. He threw 1 inning last night. 2-0 Angels here in the 8th with 1 out, 1 on. Moss was taking it. It's a 4-pitch walk. Mike Scioscia wanting to know where those pitches were at. Cousy letting him know they're both, I should say all of them, off the plate. So 2 walks in the inning. And still on 108 pitches thrown by CJ. Mike Butcher's going to come out and pay a visit.
That's the thing about Oakland. They're always in the game no matter what. They show some patience, even though CJ's had outstanding stuff. All of a sudden, they're not chasing these pitches that are borderline on the outside corner.
And that said, you'd rather, one would think, considering the way CJ is thrown in this game and had dominated both Reddick and Moss, left-handed batters, that you'd want to face Moss, even with a man on, representing the tying run, as opposed to a right-handed batter now with 2 on, and Green being the guy that could not only tie things up but put you ahead with 1 swing of the bat.
No question, and he's thrown the ball so well against the lefties. He's had a great slider.
So Norris at second, Moss at first. 1 out. Green the batter. Rookie second baseman 0 for 2. Grounded to third in the 3rd inning. Struck out in the 6th. Outfield at normal depth for the Angels. Maybe Hamilton in a couple of steps in right. Here's the first one. Green takes a strike. 0-1.
We'll see if he can sink a little two-seam fastball, keep it down and away, get a ground ball and an infielder here.
0-1 pitch. This one's in the air toward right center field. Trout giving chase. Looks like he's got a beat on it. He does. Makes the catch. Fires it back in. Norris ends up at third. There are 2 outs.
The outstanding coverage in the outfield here for the Angels. And Trout runs that one down. Hit well off the bat by Green. The Trout easy to get in position. Right off the bat, you would think that ball had a chance going away from him. With that good closing speed, tracks it down and gets second out.
Scott Downs has joined De La Rosa. Runners at the corners now. First time that Oakland has had a man reach third base tonight. Coco Crisp 0 for 3. 3 ground ball outs. First one in the air, shallow left field. Ibar going out, calls for it, is there, and the inning comes to an end. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. The Angels leading it 2-0. Jay Wilson to work around those 2 walks in the 8th inning. It's our in and out, who's in, who's out. Dan Straley done after 7 strong innings, gave up 2 runs tonight, and it's Sean Doolittle coming on in place of him. 43rd game for Doolittle. 3-3 mark at a 3.51 ERA.
Doolittle fastball 91 to 96. A lot of fastballs, occasional curveball, changeup. 35 strikeouts and 41 innings pitched, but again, a lot of fastballs from him.
Take a look at our in-game box score for the Angels. A multi-hit game for Albert Pujols as well as Howie Kendrick. The Angels tonight against Straley, 8 hits, 1 home run, and that was Callaspo that made it 2-0 in the 7th.
There's some balance. We talked about that in the opening. Balance throughout the lineup. A big home run by Callaspo at the bottom of the 7th. Solid defense from him also.
Pujols, Hamilton, Kendrick. The Angels here in the 8th. Albert tonight 2 for 3, a couple of singles and a ground ball to third.
Well, this is the at bat where you look for Pujols to try to turn on a fastball, see if he can get one out again.
One ball, one strike. Stick around after the last out. Angels Live post game presented by your SoCal Mazda dealers. We'll break everything down in the game tonight. The Angels trying to make it 2 in a row over Oakland. Won't be easy in the 9th inning. They will have 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Albert hits one out toward left center field. Poker Crisp and Chris Young. It is Crisp, the center fielder, making the catch. 1 away. That'll bring up Hamilton. Josh 0 for 2 tonight. Sack fly in the first, strike out in the third, and a fly ball to center in the 6th. Hamilton swings through the first fastball. It's an 0-1 count. Doolittle has thrown the ball better of late. His last 14 games, having allowed just 4 runs in that stretch. But prior to that, his previous 5 outings, he's kind of got away from him. 10 runs, 3 2/3. A guy that obviously a big component, as is pretty much everyone down in that bullpen for Bob Melvin. Oakland relievers have been electric once again this year. 15 and 10 mark with a 3.09 bullpen ERA. Hamilton hits one out to center, not very deep. Crisp comes charging in. 2 outs.
The reason why they've been effective in these close games and winning a lot of extra inning games has been this bullpen. Always gives them an opportunity.
Back-to-back nights in which the Angels have drawn over 43,000. Last night a win, 4-1. And so far tonight, 2-0. They lead it here in the 8th with 2 outs, and Kendrick stepping in at the Billy Currington concert following the game. Howard looks at a strike. Kendrick 2 for 3 tonight with a couple of singles back up the middle. Off the plate, moving to count at 1-1. Here they are, getting ready.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
You got to jump on the drums for a song or 3.
Maybe some air drums.
Air drums.
Not the real deal. Once he breaks out the song, people are crazy. I'll probably have to run down there for that song.
Yeah. One, 2. Kendrick strikes out, swinging. Doolittle with a 1-2-3 8th. We will head to the 9th here at the Big A. The Angels with a 2-0 lead.
Availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. By CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. CarMax. Start here. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers.
Top of the ninth here at Angel Stadium. The Halos up by the score of 2-0. And C.J. Wilson is back out on the mound. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Oakland. Young, Lowry, and then Donaldson. Ernesto Frieri, by the way, is up and warming up in the bullpen for the Angels, just in case.
Well, CJ's been unbelievable in this game.
Chris Young, the left fielder, 0 for 3 tonight. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
Always felt when you're in that ninth inning, you have a shutout going, you have to keep that same focus you've had the entire game. Don't think, what am I going to do with that third out? You got to think that batter up against you at that point. Don't look ahead.
Falls behind it. 2 balls and no strikes. 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 hits allowed for Wilson. Three and 0. Seen a lot of those here late of the last several batters.
And one thing that will force Mike Scioscia to do, if indeed CJ ends up walking Chris Young, he'll have to go down to Ernesto at that point. For CJ, fight your way back in this count.
3-1.
Go to the same pitch, challenge him. Still have great command of your fastball.
Check swing. Did he go around? He did. Full count.
Now you're wondering if CJ will think, yeah, I've gotten him out with that hard slider down and in, or do I challenge him with a fastball? Me personally, I'm going slider down and in.
Here's the payoff. Jammed him, popped up to Kendrick. 1 out.
I like what he did. He went with his slider. It's been his bread and butter this entire game.
Jed Lowry, the shortstop, 1 for 3, double back in the first. Oh, and 1. This already now the longest outing of the year for C.J. Wilson. Previous longest 8 innings against the Mariners here at the Big A on the 22nd of May. As Lowry pulls one in left field, it's a base hit. Cowgill is over, plays it cleanly, holds Lowry to a 1-out single. And Josh Donaldson will step to the plate.
Scioscia will probably go down to Ernesto now.
119 pitches for C.J. Scioscia is going to the bullpen with 1 out here in the ninth. The Angels leading it 2-0, and the sellout crowd certainly very appreciative of the outing as C.J. Wilson put forth tonight. Angels on top 2-0 here in the ninth. Josh Donaldson will be the batter once we resume play. And it'll be Ernesto Frieri taking over for Siju. Had 8 strikeouts tonight, 2 walks. Had a stretch in which he retired 18 straight batters from that second inning leadoff single by Nate Freeman until the leadoff walk of Derek Norris in the 8th. Ernesto picked up the save last night, his 23rd. Did a nice job of it too.
Yeah, he had good command of his fastball. Also, he threw a great changeup last night. Didn't get the call behind the plate. Looking for that first pitch ground ball at an infielder and finish it off right there with a double play ball.
Donaldson 0 for 3. 3 ground ball outs. Lowry over at first base. Check-in of Lowry at first, has 1 stolen base on the year.
That's important just to let them know they're still aware of him at first base. You don't want to get a walking lead and be able to go. You still want to have the double play set up to finish off the game.
Here's the first one. Donaldson takes a big rip, trying to tie things up with that 1 swing, and it's an 0-1 count.
Boy, 94, but good lateral movement. Gets it by Donaldson. He was thinking of tying it up, but that good movement on the fastball from Ernesto.
No 1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2 at 95 that time.
And again, it's that lateral movement. Even as a hitter, if you make contact, you're not going to be able to get the good part of the bat on the baseball there.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Donaldson. 2 down.
Boy, 3 magnificent fastballs from Ernesto to get a very tough hitter in Donaldson out, who loves to hit the fastball.
This went a little bit higher.
And it's that movement he has. We can always talk about velocity, but it's that late movement he has on the fastball that is so good and effective for Ernesto.
Seth Smith will pinch hit here for Nate Freeman. And the game going 1 for 3. Smith hitting .264 on the year, 6 home runs, 32 runs batted in. Lowry takes off and uncontested into second base.
In that situation, that's okay, because now you just want coverage on defense. With 1 out, you still want to keep the double play in order.
Seth Smith 1 for 5 as a pinch hitter this year, a home run, 1 RBI, 1 for 7 in his career against Ernesto Frieri. 3 infielders on the right side. 1-0 pitch. Smith is swinging a miss. One, swing and a miss, 1-2. $43,572 in the house. As the Angels trying to make it 2 in a row against Oakland. Here's the 1-2 pitch inside. 2-2 now. Derek Norris is on deck. Frieri trying to close it out for CJ, looking for his 10th win of the year. spectacular 8 1/3. Two. Outside. Full count now.
That's right, Ernesto going to the outside part of the plate, going to utilize the bigger part of the field. Just gather yourself if you're Ernesto and make your best pitch of the night right here.
Three-two on the way. Foul back off the glove. Reset and do it again.
Found a straight back. I think almost able to make the play on that, but that foul tip off the bat at 95 miles an hour, very difficult to be able to catch that foul tip.
Lowry with a one-out single. Moved to second on indifference. Donaldson struck out. First batter that Frieri faced, and now Smith for the full count. Another payoff pitch, and he walked him. So a two-out walk puts the tying run on base. And Derek Norris is going to be called back as John Jaso, the left-hand hitting catcher, is going to pinch hit now. Jaso at .268 batting average with a couple of home runs and 20 runs batted in. 2 for 10 as a pinch hitter. Has a home run and 3 RBIs. He got the start last night behind the plate. Ended up going 0 for 1 with a couple of walks against Jared Weaver.
When Jaso, a very dangerous hitter. Again, the guy that looks for pitches on the inner half of the plate, especially early in the count.
Outfield deep for the Angels. Cowgill, Trout, and Hamilton. And a no doubles alignment. Here's the first one. Jaso looks at a strike. Howie out in shallow right field. Here's the 0-1. Jaso a swing and a miss. 0-2. Two pitch. Swing and a miss. Light that baby up as the Angels shut out the Athletics by the final of 2-0.
And what an outstanding job on the mound for the Halos tonight. C.J. Wilson, 8 1/3, unbelievable, remarkable innings for him tonight. Had retired 18 straight at one point. Ernesto Frieri comes in and gets save number 24. A lot of the credit's got to go to Hank Conger, the rapport that C.J. and Hank had during the course of the game. And then Ernesto getting a very, very difficult hitter out. And John Jaso, 3 fastballs by him, a fastball hitter who's out outstanding numbers here hitting at the Big A, but goes upstairs and gets the swing and miss. A little 4-seam fastball with movement and by Jaso to finish it off. As the Halos have won back-to-back games starting off the second half of the season after the All-Star break. The starters outstanding, 15 shutout innings in 2 starts against Oakland. As CJ wins its 10th game, now 10-6. Ernesto getting to save his 24th. And Strelly falls to 6-3, who threw the ball very well himself. But C.J. Wilson, certainly the story of this game when he threw the ball. Probably, in my opinion, his best slider that I've ever seen from C.J. Wilson. Outstanding job as far as his tempo, his command of his fastball, and his slider right on the money. And down to Jose with the man who threw that outstanding slider throughout the game, C.J. Wilson. Outstanding game by him.
Thanks a lot, Mark. CJ, you're very good at describing things in detail. So describe to us what it was like to watch this inning develop as you're watching from that dugout.
Well, you know, anytime Oakland is here within a close game, it's a lot of pressure for us, I feel like. But Ernie came in and got a couple high fastballs by guys and went for the punch, so it was pretty exciting.
What was working for you to be able to go out there and execute as far as you did?
I was just trying to stay out of the middle of the plate, you know, early. I felt like I was able to throw some curveballs in there and keep them a little bit off balance. They have a lot of thunder on that team. A lot of guys can go deep, so you don't want to just throw meatballs, even though you're trying to throw strikes, you know.
Hank Conger and the importance of him playing and keeping you on the same page. It seems like you're almost starting your motion before he was putting his sign down because you guys are on such a great page.
Yeah, we had a really good meeting before the game to go over the scouting report. You know, he's really positive. He's got that PMA, so it's fun. The whole dugout was like that, but the fans were great tonight cheering, and all my brother and my family was up there. I could hear him yelling, "Let's go, CJ," so it was exciting.
Okay, and then the importance of from here on and what the Angels have to go through to get back into this whole thing and taking it one day at a time. How important was it for you to follow up on Weaver and what the rest of the guys did last night?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't allow any runs, you have a better chance of winning, you know, and that's the ultimate thing. So this team we have, you know, it's coming together a little bit. We kind of skidded into the All-Star break in the last series, but before that we were playing really well. So we're just trying to get that engine revved up a little bit and have more games like tonight.
Well done. Thank you.
Arigato.
Gozaimasu. C.J. Wilson gets it done. Angels Live coming up. Victor Rojas, Tim Salmon breaking it down as the Angels secure the series. Go for the sweep tomorrow here at the Big A.